Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in amma ba'd. Today we're looking at the crazy, inconsistent, and actually sometimes consistent in a strange way of the Salafiyah, the Wahabiyah, where they say things and do things against the orthodox, the way of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the four schools of fiqh, the three schools of aqid, and the way of Tasawuf. So today we're looking at Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah, and we make dua for him because he was Muslim and we want Jannah for him. But we have to make it clear the terrible positions that he took and other of the Salafiyah did as well. And today we're focusing on, for example, the rida of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Like the hadith says, so Ibn Uthaymeen affirmed a literal rida, which is a garment, a piece of clothing, an upper garment. So he's affirming that for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But he says we don't know the reality of it, right? Well, it's a literal rida, but we don't know how he, takes this on. I mean, you're going against the way of the Sahaba, the way of the Tabi'een, the way of the Salaf, the way of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. But he's trying to be consistent because Ahl Sunnah will, raise that question. Will you affirm everything else? I mean, doesn't, to be consistent, don't you have to affirm that he does? Like, no, we do affirm that he does, right? And there's actually khilaf amongst them about affirming this rida anyway, right? Like Ibn Baz, rahimahullah, as well, he affirmed the dhil of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like the shade, right? But we don't know the reality of this shade, right? Did you see? I mean, it's nonsense. It's and it's an attempt to stay consistent because their way is inconsistent, doesn't make sense, and it's against the consensus of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the ijma' of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, right? Of course, they're following the way of Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah, and then eventually they take on Ibn Abdul Wahhab's way. So they're following just a handful of people. Of course, later it's Ibn Baz and Ibn Uthaymeen, and somehow Albani with that. Again, we make dua, for them. It's nothing really, everything personal, but we have to make it clear that these positions are dangerous, right? And also, we don't even consider them scholars, like Ibn Uthaymeen, Ibn Baz. Our scholars definitely don't consider them scholars, just like Ibn Abdul Wahhab as well. Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, like we mentioned before, he was a scholar of Islam. And he went through different stages, and he had, vast knowledge. But he went through different stages. And Ibn Hajar, rahimahullah, said that he died as an Ashari. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. But again, it's about the ideas. It's not really about the people necessarily. But obviously, when these ideas spread, then we have to make them clear. But you see, when you don't follow, the line of the Jawhara, وَكُلُّ نَصٍ أَوْهَمَ التَّشْبِيهَ أَوْهِلُ وَفَوْضُرُمْ تَنْزِيهَ. Right, so those are the two ways of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Tafweed, which is the overwhelming majority of the Salaf. And then, of course, some of the Salaf did ta'wil, so you can make ta'wil there. Those are the two ways to do it. But then you have the Salafi, the Wahabiyah, they follow this way of ithbat, which is the way of Tajsim, and against the way of the Salaf, against the way of Ahl Sunnah, against the orthodox way of the Muslims. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam, Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.